And welcome to Project Communities 2015. We are now live from several places around the world and from
the Hague University in The Hague, the Netherlands. Yay!
Yay! Hello, Hague.
Okay, I'm going to turn this around. These are the students. They've all been working very hard. Welcome, students and our NGOs who are here and who are across the world with us today as well. I want to thank you guys for making this the best project community course ever. I realize we've asked a lot of you this year. We've given you specific roles and you've taken on specific tasks every single week, which has been a great amount of collaboration and communication between the two and three groups together. It's been wonderful watching you guys, also wonderful watching the struggles and then getting out of the struggles together. I think you've learned a lot of things. You can agree with me that you have learned so much because you've really done it yourself. I'm also going to ask you next week for some feedback. So how can we make this even clearer than it was this week, this module? How can we make it better for the next year? Because that's what we do every year. We ask the students what went wrong and what could be made better. So we're going to ask you that as well. At the end of the day, after all the presentations, I'm going to ask each group to come up, introduce themselves, and we'll start the video. And then after that, after all the videos have been played, also we're thanking the NGOs. Maybe you're from Costa Casa, I think? Yes? Welcome here from Costa Casa. Great that the Dutch edition of Costa Casa is here as well. But at the end of the presentations, we're going to ask you to fill in some evaluation forms. So I'm going to do a really, Janneke is going to do a really short explanation.
Every one of your tutors has just a tiny little form. And this is not really an official instrument, but it's an instrument that we will use partly for two reasons. We're going to ask you to fill in your perception of how the process went and how everybody's individual, how every individual team member's input was. How their effort.
Heads up, when somebody speaks, they should really come in front of the picture so we could hear you.
Great.
I know that wasn't for us, but you know.
We want to see Janneke.
Yeah, great.
And we want the URL too so we can see the survey.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's over there.
Can you repeat everything?
Yeah, so we have these. We're going to ask you to divide a specific amount of points across all the team members, and we're going to ask you to do this and hand it in by the end of class. And I'll just move over here so that they can see me. So hand it in at the end of the it's not an official instrument, but it will be used as input for reflection. And if it's very consistent, for example, it might also be used by the tutor to influence individual grades. But that is only if it's super consistent. And that is up to you. So please be sure that by the end of the day, you have one of these filled in and given back, handed back to the tutor. All right? No questions?
Okay,
Back to you.
I think we'll get down to the nitty-gritty. I know Shorty has a meeting she has to get to, so we're going to start the videos. I'm going to walk over to the computer now. Alan?
Yes, and I'm going to line up the playlist for people watching here.
Hello, I'm here to tell you about the tiny house movement, more specifically about the tiny house community in Florida and what we, the students of the Hague University, have been doing to help it develop. The Tiny House Intentional Community is a non-governmental organization which is part of the tiny house movement and is based in Orlando, Florida. The tiny house movement has caused a great interest recently, which has currently hit a boom and is very popular. The aim of the movement is to downsize from regular living spaces to smaller ones, tiny houses. The tiny house community in Florida is currently trying to find a plot of land for their community. However, once they find the perfect lot, they have a problem. They need to become financially sustainable in order to keep the community going. This is where our teams, Found in Transition and the Tiny Innovators, aim to provide a helping hand. As I mentioned, the community is planning on collectively purchasing land. Our proposal is for them to use a third of that land to organize workshops on, which will help generate an income and become financially sustainable. There are several people in the community who are experienced tiny house builders. They have built their own tiny houses, and they give lectures and workshops and participate in related events regularly. We suggest they can use their already acquired skills to teach in their workshop. A lot of people are actually interested in tiny houses, but many are doubtful about whether the lifestyle suits them. The community members can give lectures in the workshops and how to cope with living tiny. Since they already pursue this lifestyle, for example, how to look after the tiny house, how to prepare a meal, or store belongings in such a small space. Participants of the workshop can be asked either for participation fee or a donation. This will generate a profit and help with sustainability. Additional profit could be generated by selling catalogs for different tiny house styles, like cheat sheets for ideas. There are no specific guidelines for building, but everyone can use inspiration from time to time. The community would have to advertise locally to gain popularity and turn people's attention to the workshops. This should be done via various social platforms, such as Twitter or Facebook. They could even advertise on local news, magazines or other media. We suggest they also create a YouTube vlog. So what do you do when you've built a tiny house? We've got an idea for that as well. The next question is, what are we going to do with the tiny houses created in the workshop? Our solution is simple. We are creating tiny offices from the tiny houses made in the workshop. The tiny offices are workspaces located in Florida. The advantages of these offices is to be working within nature, which will make the customers feel more relaxed, calm and focused on their responsibilities concerning their work. And obviously, the offices are small, so perfect for individuals or small groups who need a workspace temporarily or long term. These offices are very unique and use natural, simplistic and sustainable materials. How is this going to work? We firstly need land to store these tiny offices. Once the tiny house community has found their plot of land, the offices would use a section of their own community as a hub. The offices are portable, so the customers can take their tiny offices wherever they please. Or, of course, they can be kept on the beautiful community land. They contain a meeting table with chairs, a toilet and Wi-Fi. In addition to this, they will have a fridge, a microwave and a kettle. All they need to work is a power source. The cost for these tiny offices is next to nothing. The tiny offices will be made by the workshop, therefore not costing anything. The expenses are furnishing the offices, along with the time and labour to set them up. The offices are available to rent for any length of time, with prices being formulated on a daily, weekly or monthly basis. In addition to this, to ensure a cost-free maintenance, a deposit will be required for the rental, to ensure the offices are returned in the same condition as before the rental period. The tiny offices will be advertised on the community's own website, which will link to an official rental website like ShareDesk. And of course, a Facebook, Twitter and Instagram account will be created and linked to the website, making it the central point of contact. So in order to create the maximum and best solution to becoming financially sustainable, we have combined our two solutions. Once Found in Transition have created their tiny houses at the workshop they provide. The tiny innovators will create tiny offices to be used by anyone and everyone. The advantages of combining these solutions is that it ensures very low costs throughout the whole process. There will be money being generated from the workshop and the offices once they are up and running. The biggest expense would be creating the tiny offices. However, the tiny houses that are being built by the workshop ensure that the costs that would be needed to generate the tiny offices are scrapped. Both of these ideas go hand in hand with each other, creating a sustainable future for the tiny house community in Florida. Thank you for watching, and we hope you have enjoyed our video.
Well, first of all, Shorty, do you have any questions for your teams? Or any comments?
Yeah. Well, I don't have any questions at all. The comment, the one I want to thank them for the creative ideas. I didn't give them any of our ideas that we as a group had come up with, especially for that reason. And they came up with ideas that we hadn't thought of, specifically the tiny offices one. Most of the ideas that we had for generating revenue relied really just on the tiny house community. We really, really liked the idea of bringing in somebody else besides the tiny house community to generate revenue off of, so that it isn't just somebody renting, to live in the community, and it isn't just the workshops, but, which are ideas that we had. But to do a business center, an office center kind of thing out in the woods, even a retreat facility where we're bringing in people who aren't necessarily related to the specific community, I think is really good idea, and something that we're going to play with a little bit more.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do you guys have any questions here from the audience? Any comments from the tutors?
Just a question about the workshops.
Sebastian.
The workshops. So you state in this video that they don't cost anything. How does it work? Because $0. No point to use.
The group.
That's what you would like to know.
How does it work?
Yes, please speak up.
Yeah. How does it work?
Are they asking me that, or are they asking my group that?
Yeah, asking your team, your group
Okay.
that.
We had the idea about the workshops. They said that it didn't cost anything. No, I mean.
Speak up.
You have to move to the microphone.
And move to the microphone. Yeah. Microphone moves to you.
Okay.
Basically, once you get the land, then you organize the workshops, and people would pay to participate in those workshops.
Right.
So
And the workshop fees would cover the construction of the tiny houses.
yeah.
Okay.
So Shorty, as I was watching their video, I was also thinking writers retreat.
I saw your retreat centers, writers retreats, small artist communities. There's so many things that could be done, with something like that. Basically, our idea for the overall community, and they touched on a little bit, is a third as living space, a third as construction space, and then a third as revenue generating business space.
Yeah.
And so we would be able to live and work and play within the community. And so it's definitely a retreat center, and we're definitely looking at property that's out in nature more and not in the city, but we're close to Orlando, so that's a good, convenient, desirable location too.
So I have a question for the team. What was the highlight of this process? The best thing?
Video call Nancy and Shorty.
Anybody else?
Being done, maybe?
Finishing the group work, actually.
The group work.
I got to say, it's impressive how the groups really blended their ideas.
Yeah.
They just weren't glommed onto each other. They really united them, and that's impressive.
It's
And
not easy.
And I did meet with each of them separately. We met on the same day, but I did meet with them separately, and I think about halfway through they started really communicating with each other. I could tell when they all started talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
The excellent video. The animation is great.
I just want to add, next to the solutions, very natural in working together, and as well as I don't need to intervene in the process for the group process. So that's quite interesting, because even though there are differences in how show their entrepreneurship, like coming up with stuff to talk to, but still as a group they are very natural, both of them, and it's really a to handle that enthusiasm to really function as a group, and both did very good in that particular class.
Okay. Okay.
Excellent.
Excellent. Thank you. I think we're ready to go to the next video, Alan.
Natalia, hi! Hi, have you met Marcel?
Hey, we're actually just heading down to the surf expo at the beach. Are you coming with us?
Actually, that's funny, because that's how we met the first time. What do you mean? Well, I'm part of the local rowing team.
And I'm part of the surf club here.
So?
Well, we both participate in the network by the International Water Foundation, and we usually get together to make a change when it comes to water.
Aren't you part of the swimming team? You should actually join us.
Water covers 71% of Earth's surface, and it's needed for every living organism. However, 2.5 billion people lack access to safe and potable water. This number will keep increasing if we don't do anything about it. There are many organizations that aim to solve this problem. However, the amount of resources invested each year is not proportionate to the progress. In other words, it's inefficient. Most initiatives that try to tackle this challenge do not make use of their full potential. They do not use an approach that considers looking at multiple angles of the issue, and therefore they fail to see the connections. This is what the International Water Foundation aims to improve through its current objectives, one of which is connecting these existing organizations using an online network in order to make a bigger impact. They also aim to fund research projects, and most importantly, to raise awareness about the water issues. While Francois Brillet, the founder and currently only member of the IWF, has done a great job engaging older age groups and raising funds, there's a crucial demographic with an incredible power that needs to be taken into account: the youth. They are keen to make a change and become active for the things they are passionate about. We are proposing to create a network that connects young people and the International Water Foundation in order to not only achieve their goals, but bring people that share a passion for water together. This network will be used to share information, as well as offer fun and engaging opportunities for the groups to become active and support our NGO. As we will be working with a specialized community, this will be a peer sourcing approach rather than crowdsourcing, which normally is addressed to the public. To create a network of passionate people, we approach existing youth groups, such as sports clubs, and use their love for water to support Francois in his work. Additionally, university courses that match the IWF's needs in terms of peer sourcing can help to realize the logistics behind such a network. they can develop an innovative approach to make the first contact towards youth groups. We will be creating Facebook groups for the individual sports clubs and courses and then link them using one central hub. This way they are connected to each other while receiving news and exciting opportunities to make a change. Once this basic structure is running, an infinite number of additions can be made, such as collaborations between NGOs, the use of crowdfunding, or even events such as TED Talks. We are targeting the youth because we believe that this generation is naturally aware of the problems in this world and therefore will not need convincing that change is important and relevant for the future. We are focusing mainly on existing groups because it's easy to find and connect them, rather than starting from scratch and targeting individuals to create a new network. As the International Water Foundation is a one-man organization at this stage, we realize that uncontrolled growth will be counterproductive. We believe that the youth groups alone aren't the only thing that the International Water Foundation needs to grow, and that's exactly why we wanted to also get universities involved. IT, marketing, finances and communication are all factors that need to be strengthened, and students studying those topics are the right partners to aid the International Water Foundation, while improving their skills and being active for a good cause. The International Water Foundation has an incredible potential to make a real change in a world that is in desperate need of fresh water. A world in which passionate people get a chance to make a change and help those in need. We want to create an environment that enables the youth to do what they do best, to break boundaries, to inspire, and to be creative. All for what connects every single human on this planet: water.
Well, thanks, guys. Francois.
Congratulations.
Do you have any comments or questions you want to ask?
I see that sorry for my voice. I see that the script was very carefully written, and it carries a lot of the great energy for the future, and I congratulate the whole group. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Francois. Sebastian?
Yeah. Here's we printed out the honorary founding members
Great.
certificates, and then we're going to hand them to you now.
Yes, great timing.
How often do you get to be a founding member on a student project? Mamma mia!
Yeah.
Misschien wil François er iets over zeggen.
Would you like to say something about the certificates, making them honorary founding members?
Sure. This honorary means that it's a class of members that have not contributed financially, but have contributed to an even higher level for the perenity and for the life coming to the foundation in the future. So in honorary, there is the word honor, and this is what I want to express. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sebastian, do you have anything else you'd like to say to the group?
Wonderful footage. Wonderful movie.
Footage. Surfing.
Surfing and stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed working with the group, and I'm part of the cooperativeness of this group, because they started on a very early stage working together as a group of 15 people, and they managed well to organize all the things and to communicate everything they were going to do. So, great achievement. Very proud.
Okay. Any questions from the audience?
Where did the video come from? I noticed you credited it, but how did you, where did it come from? How did you find it?
I recognized.
Everyone's vacation footage.
Vacation footage.
How fabulous!
It's great footage, and I enjoyed seeing two different styles in these first two videos: the animation and then the merge footage with the message. So kudos to everybody for putting it together, and it really works cohesively.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Francois, for challenging our students, and a final applause.
I still get to ask my other question. Wait a minute. What was the highlight?
What was that? Guys. Oh, wait.
Yeah, get back.
Get back.
What was the highlight?
I think it was seeing everything I've been working on for so long come together and actually have a final video to show all our work that we've been doing.
Can I put my notification on? Since we're not having the final round yet, but so you come back. So you've been working as a group of 15, as I understand, actually as a team of 15. So let's say you meet another group of 15 people that haven't worked together yet before. What will be your best advice to them? How do you start? So you meet up in a room, you're 15 people. What is the first step towards success to work as a team with 15?
Divide into smaller groups.
Could you say that?
What we did is we did recognize that we worked as a big team, as a whole. But within our big team, we had 3 smaller ones, and each one had a leader, and we made sure that the communication was almost perfect between all of us, and it's almost impossible to keep it going if you're 15 and there is no representative of certain ideas.
So who would take the lead? So you start on Monday or Wednesday.
The team.
How do you decide?
Yeah,
team leaders usually.
Yeah.
And every week different people with different tasks were presenting and organizing everything on Monday. The first week it was team leaders, next week it was production managers, and we always change and mostly work the people with the same tasks work together.
We usually have a discussion.
Can't hear you.
We usually have a discussion with the whole group beforehand.
Can you guys hear Benji?
Sort of.
Sort of.
We have a discussion with the whole group when we start class together.
Okay.
To determine what we need to
So
do.
you start off your class by having a group discussion with all 15?
Yeah. And we
Wow.
had teams. So we either had the original teams, the NGO teams, or specialized ones, saying all the group leaders come together and work on a general plan, or the production managers go into their team and work on the video and the communication managers. Yeah, so it's important to realize what groups work on what.
Start as a big group.
Yeah.
So you learned the jigsaw method pretty well, I guess.
It's quite fascinating because your whole work was given as an example to other tutors as well. That look at Sebastian Group, how they are working. It still fascinates me that 15 people working together, because I couldn't make 5 people working together in my groups. So I mean, it's quite an I don't know how to compliment him or compliment you, but I compliment you guys, because even though the tutor is something, but still it's how you work together, because it's still a good example, and I hope you continue this working together in the future, because it's gonna only get difficult, you know.
And maybe a somewhat of a tangential. The motivation here largely was because this is a class. So what happens when you go out as just a project, and how do you motivate people to be part of it? So I think you all were highly motivated by both aspects of this.
And by Francois.
And by Francois. But when it's not part of a curriculum where there's the incentive of the grade, and that's all important, how do you get that motivation going? That's a thought. I don't know. You can't really answer that right now. Yay.
Can I hit play again?
All right. We're for Robotica, right?
Is that the next one on the list?
Yep, yep. I'm ready when you are.
Hi guys. If you don't know Robotica Educativa already, well, we'll tell you about them. They're a small non-governmental organization based in Mexico. Their goal is to teach robotics to children from a young age, so they developed a technical way of thinking. Their educational activities is intended to stimulate mathematical knowledge and increases interest in programming, electronics and engineering through the constructions of Lego like robot kits. What is their problem they are facing now? Well, Robotica Educativa has to deal with financial challenges. They are struggling to purchase robot kits because the robot kits are too expensive and they cost around $350 each, which in Mexico is even more than what a regular Mexican worker would earn in a month. Therefore, they are aiming to expand via online platforms. So how do we come in and how do we help? Well, we are a group of multilingual students from the Hague University of Applied Science, whose goal is to support and help our NGO with ideas and innovative solutions to tackle their financial problem. So after 8 weeks of hard work, we advise Robotica Educativa on what possible platforms to use and how effectively to use them. We are going to introduce you 3 stunning ideas. Let's begin.
Considering the challenge of Robotica Educativa, the biggest problem is financial problem. So we recommend to create a robot game app to raise money from all over the world. The NGO group can cooperate with University of Technology in Mexico, such as the Monterrey and Guadalajara University. The students or department can help to create an attractive game app, and they will share a part of the donation with NGO group. In this app, every player from all over the world will have their personal account and they can choose which kind of robot they interest. And then if they want to keep further in the game by using this robot, the player need to pay more money for the robot they like and even small mechanical parts of robot. After they donate once, they can get robots with different skin they paid for and using it to compete with other players' robot online. There will be a progress to show what percentage of donation they get. If donation for each robot materials fall, the amount of money is going to be used for the material to make a real robot on the workshop. There will be an exhibition page on app. This page is used for exhibiting the entire real robots they make on workshop through some videos. It also provides a platform for Robotica Educativa to interact with all of those who are willing to know and help them. This game app also have publicity function. Subscribers from all over the world could better know about Robotica Educativa. The app is not only for raise donation, but also for development of Robotica Educativa in the future.
We want to propose an alliance between Robotica Educativa, the museum El Papaloto Museo del Niño, and the University of Guadalajara. So here a quick review on the challenge that Robotica Educativa faces. To expand the robotic horses for children, a budget is needed. They will need around $35,000 to make home robots feasible. So, what is the museum all about? Papaloto Museo del Niño is an interactive museum that mainly concentrates around popular sciences. Their goal is to get children acquainted with physics, maths, and chemistry through the use of fun workshops. To enrich the museum, Robotica Educativa could organize a workshop on robotics. Children can join the workshops for one day and learn all about the first robotic principles. This way, more visitors will be attracted to the museum, and furthermore, Robotica Educativa taps into a larger crowd. But organizing these workshops is going to take a lot of time for the volunteers of Robotica Educativa. To solve this, the actual workshops could be outsourced to technical university students that will set up the equipment, and they could also teach the children at the workshops. So, what will be the advantage for the students of the technical university? Robotica Educativa will train these students a couple of times a year on how to give the workshops. The students will gain skills in teaching, and it could also be made part of their curriculum.
So what exactly is our solution? Well, after weeks of researching and brainstorming, we decided that the best way to help lower expenditure on robots would be crowdsourcing. How? Well, so instead of purchasing robot components from China or from other countries, which cost a lot, we proposed to you to use already existing 3D printing platforms. One of them we looked at was Thingiverse. Now this platform allows you to access a database of components, in this case, looking for parts of robots, which already exist. As you mentioned to us that your main problem was cost on certain products. Well, here it is. We have found your EV3 set costs, your Legos, and of course, your PCRS, all on Thingiverse. And if the existing components are not to your likings, or need a bit of modifying, well, how convenient. Thingiverse has its own customized section, where you can customize existing components to your product specification. There is also a forum on this platform for collaboration, attaining help, and even sharing ideas. And what are the chances? There is also a robot forum. So after customizing or using these components, all you have to do is to use the 3D printer you already have and print it. Oh, and if you need more information about 3D printing, well, don't worry, because the largest printing 3D event worldwide is happening right where you're standing, in Mexico City next year in May. So to sum up, we've just presented you 3 various solutions. From our viewpoint, you can use those ones as a step-by-step plan, or you can just choose one of the ideas. Our main goal was to present different angles of solving the issues. As a side effect, our solution can be a source of new ideas about the main mission of Robotica Educativa, which is expanding the company throughout Mexico. Well, Robotica Educativa, it's been a fun 8 weeks working with you. We did enjoy this project, and we hope our ideas have inspired you. Thank you.
Wild applause.
And the teams assemble.
Like robots.
Yes, we must respond to this one like robots. We must not talk like human beings.
We are robots. We are meant to give feedback.
Okay,
So,
since our NGO isn't with us, I think I'll turn to our tutor first.
First feedback. Well, guys, I think with respect to the other 2 teams, I can see there's a difference in coherence and fluency with regards to what it looks like. But I think you did quite well in introducing the problem very clearly, and also in at least making a coherent line throughout the video. And I do believe that the integration of the different ideas could have been, in the past couple of weeks, could have been much more. But this is something you all took a very different approach to the problem, which also leads to a very different solution. So I also think that there's a unique view to that. So that is what I'll keep it to that.
Okay.
I'm just going to invite
Nancy and Alan.
Okay, and Cynthia Reyes just joined us too. Is she with Robotica?
Yes.
Yes.
Cynthia.
She
might not have seen the video.
I think her mic is muted too.
Oh, there she is.
Hey.
She's getting ready.
She's putting on the headset. Yeah, you can see it.
She's coming. We'll fill the space.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, well, hi. I'm very sorry for the time. And I really wanted to have the chance to tell you how grateful I am for the hard work you did for us. Actually, we have already shared your video with our teachers and the people who help us. And yesterday we had a long talk about it. We loved your ideas, actually. And yes, we are going to consider them like different stages to implement. Probably the first one is that we're going to get some materials printed with 3D printing, as you suggested. And some of them, I think we can get to manufacture like injection plastic pieces, low cost, that I think we might be able to get. And after that, we are going to start giving workshops on museums and things like that, as you suggested. And of course, the hardest part to do will be the part of creating a game. So that will be like the third step. But actually, everybody loved your ideas, and we are really, really happy and thankful that you did all that great job for us, and you spend your time. And we actually love the video, and we really hope in the future to still share your names and your credit for giving us this punch in this early time for our NGO.
Wow, you can't get much better than that.
Woo! Another applause for Robotica.
Thank you very much.
Talk about impact.
Thank you so much for joining us. You drew the video? Okay.
That's great. That's great.
How did you record it?
I use the screen. It's like this. I just joined on the
Okay.
to record the process.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful style, and I thought it's a nice change from using media elsewhere you find to actually see, and so those really added a great element.
The other thing I really enjoyed was this idea of the zooming in on each of the individual robots. You know, it probably could have been done a little more strongly, but I thought it was a really original idea to have each robot represent each thing. So, you know, I know you guys dealt with a lot of struggles, and so I'm really impressed with what you ended up with, because I know you've had a lot of different challenges that, and in projects that happens, but you ended up, you finished it, you got it through, and your perseverance till the end, I think, was really important, because, you know, I feel like some of you might have said, forget it, and given up, but you didn't. You kept going, and that's super important. I left you a question on your blog, and I'm curious to hear from a follow-up standpoint, and I'm sorry Cynthia's not here, so this is something I would also suggest you communicate with Cynthia. But did you make contact with that museum? Have you initiated any of those actual contacts? If so, you need to hand them off very clearly to Cynthia so those don't get lost. Because wasting a contact is like, you know, not eating the good chocolate in front of you. It's bad. So what's the status of those relationships?
Well, I think we have the email addresses of some people in the museum, and that's how far it is.
We actually tried. We tried, but they didn't reply.
Okay. Did you hear that answer?
Yeah. So you need to communicate that clearly to Cynthia, because you could think when watching the video that this is a done deal, okay? Because it was presented very compellingly, and it's an opportunity versus a done deal. So as you document your final comments for your client in your blog, make sure you share that, because it's really good stuff, but it's not finished. So they have, if they want to do it, they need to finish, and you need to hand off the context and stuff. And actually, this other comment goes to everybody. If you ever decided to do any one more tiny little edits to your video, is to put a link to your blogs in the beginning or the end of your videos, or if not, on the YouTube page, put the link in the information about the thing, because there's, as we've discussed in our consulting calls, there's so much information and things you've learned that's not going to fit in the video, and it would be overwhelming if you put it all in the video. But link, that's the power of the internet, that hyperlink. So everybody should have a link to their blog in their YouTube video page, okay?
Yeah, I would agree with Nancy. You don't have to re-edit your video, but if you put, you know, when you upload the video, there's a place to add descriptive information. So you can put your link, you can put all kinds of credits. It's kind of like a separate little blog post.
And the tag, put ProjCom15. Tag your videos, because then when other people are looking for Project Community, it'll show up.
Actually not. Tags don't work in YouTube.
Oh, crap.
They took that's a long story, but I like also the way you had the 3 different ideas that were presented, and it's a recommendation for them to choose one or maybe blend them. And a great job also for wrapping the projects together at the end in the summer. Yeah. That was really well done.
Yeah.
So what was the? I know there's a lot of challenges. What was the highlight, guys?
What was the highlight?
Nothing.
Maybe receiving the certificate of the honors membership of Robotica Educativa, but we're still waiting on that.
You got a 3D print one.
Yeah, right.
Anybody else? Maybe for me it was seeing the final video with all 3 teams in there. That was pretty cool. And the final report, which you already posted, Team Swag. Was, congratulations getting that together. Yay! Okay.
Yay! Perseverance!
Yay!
Project Perseverance! And let me say, as someone who works as a consultant, this always happens sometimes. You know, it does always. These sort of things show up in our lives, and your ability to persevere is one of those assets that will serve you the rest of your life. So even through challenges, we learn amazing things.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready to go on to the next one. How about you guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey, I'm pretty busy with my project community group. We're helping an NGO that provides education and protection to kids in Kenya. You should have heard about it. They gave a lecture not long ago. You know which one I'm talking about?
Not really, but I'm sure that we can look it up.
Can't remember the name. It's based in Kenya, so it shouldn't be hard to find. How many NGOs in Kenya that might there be? They work with kids, so still not good.
Wait, is this the one we visited fundraising event the other week? I have this huge flyer they gave out during the event somewhere here. Oh, found it. It's the Healy Foundation.
How did they came to be? 3 young aspiring women, each for their own reason, found themselves working in an orphanage in Kenya. Over the course of 5 years, they crossed paths multiple times in their mutual dedication to improve children's lives. Throughout these years, they faced corruption, child abuse, and child labor. They could not just walk away from these children. Michelle, Laura, and Hannah joined forces to ensure a better future for a single child in Kenya, John. And before they knew it, they had rescued 10 children from life of abuse. Thus, Stahili Foundation was born. Stahili means to deserve in Swahili, and its name was carefully chosen to represent the main belief of the founders, that every child deserves a quality education and safe and loving environment to grow up in. Today, Stahili Foundation is a volunteer-driven non-profit organization run by Michelle, Laura, and Joseph,
with the help of intern Gilliam and several other cause-concerned volunteers. Together, their team currently supports 37 children with protection, education, access to medical and psychological support, shelter, and encouragement.
That sounds like a lot of work for such a small team.
And that's why we're here. We got in touch with a co-founder of Stahili, Michelle. She was very passionate and eager to share her ideas on what could be done to help the foundation grow. Great minds work even better together. We joined forces between our teams and brainstormed the current challenges of Stahili. Then we defined a list of core struggles. Was it easy to find them? Hardly, if you don't know the name of the foundation. Luckily, throughout our research, we came across a very useful tool, Google Nonprofit Program. Here's a brief overview of only some of the great tools. Google Apps, which can be used by all members of our NGO for free, and it includes tools like Google Calendar and Google Drive. It's a great platform for sharing documents, and it's easy to use for facilitating organization online meetings. As soon as you have all these tools connected to your website, this is where Google Analytics kicks in. It analyzes your website and gives you information about the activity on the website. It will show you how visitors interact on it.
We worry about the online tools no more. Sweet!
What about other online platforms? So far, Stahili Foundation is presented on their website, Facebook, and Twitter.
Sounds like a lot of separate platforms to manage. How do they do it?
It's all about scheduling. Decide what material will be published on which days of the week. In long-term perspective, it will be much easier if you focus on the website, update it regularly, and share it on the other platforms. That way, you don't have to write new posts from scratch for different channels. Use what you already have. This is what we have of printed materials. There's only this big pamphlet with all the information about the foundation and its work. But doesn't it look quite heavy? Let's start from scratch.
What if we involve designers in developing handouts, postcards, and business cards? I'm sure many would love to contribute to a good cause.
The goal is to establish a long-term cooperation between the foundation and a group of graphic designers. One of the great ways to attract crowds' attention is to organize an open online design competition. This will solve two troubles. One, there will always be a professional assistance for updating online appearance and improving information presented on printed material. 2. Having one solid group of designers will ensure that all material is carried out in a unanimous style. We researched a great deal of online platforms for crowdsourcing and came up with a list of websites that would work perfectly for Stahili. Designcontest.com, specific for graphic design, Core77.com for all kinds of design, web.designcrowd.com/contests.
But why is it important to involve few designers and not one?
It's all about crowdsourcing, combining the efforts of numerous self-identified volunteers, where each contributor, acting on their own initiative, adds a small contribution that links with those of others to achieve a greater result. Crowdsourcing, it stimulates creative and competitive spirit and can be applied to a wide range of activities within the NGO.
So when the website and handouts are polished, there are no more obstacles left?
Well, we still need to make the foundation recognizable, and for that, we need people. Stahili Foundation was dealt with huge amount of work with only few people on board. A valuable asset would be a volunteer recruiter. Next step will be creating a list of prospective volunteers with detailed description of required qualities and abilities. Management is key to a successful running of a developing NGO. No more things unknown, no more paperwork lost, everything is under control. Another great asset to the team would be a public manager, who would be responsible for organizing events and updating information online. We believe that major responsibilities of such should be sending out newsletters and organizing fundraising events. And an additional accountant that would help with managing finances.
Sounds great. What's in our budget?
Well, now we don't really have a budget. All donations go directly to support kids. Maybe in long term, the foundation could invest more in self-development. The first and easiest option is to subscribe on several online donation platforms for NGOs. We did our research and few websites caught our attention. Oh, I got an email. Let's have a look.
Hey, that's a great idea. Each time when someone donates, he or she will automatically get a thank you email with the latest updates on the cause. Besides, a weekly newsletter will serve as a reminder to donators and volunteers that you are there and your work is making a difference.
Today, one of the big goals of the foundation is to build a Stahili school. What started out as helping one child escape abuse turned it out into a growing non-profit organization that provides better life to dozens of children.
Now that I think of it, I have to buy Halloween mask. Can you recommend me a good website?
Well, do you know anything about charity shopping?
No.
Well, let me show you Amazon Smile. When people shop through Amazon Smile, 0.5% of the money spent on that site will go to a charity chosen by a customer, and the donator doesn't pay an extra fee. Amazon is the one that contributes. The steps mentioned in this video are meant to improve Stahili's online presence and make it more visible and recognizable worldwide. With all those great recruitment platforms and tools, we believe that you'll have a great team of skillful volunteers in no time. We hope that this video will help Stahili Foundation and the people working for them, so one day they can help as many kids as possible. This complete project was made by a team of students who were really touched by Stahili's story.
Okay, Stahili.
Stahili.
Let's hear it for Stahili.
Woo! What a gorgeous video. That was tremendous.
And she said, "Dear Laura, I want to thank you so very much for involving Stahili in your course. I hope that this has served useful to the students. I wanted to let you know that the students working on the project, and in particular Emilio and Elisa, have been exceptional. They are creative, responsive, proactive, enthusiastic, client-oriented, and results-driven, to name just a few. For instance, just last night, the team was up until early in the morning helping us fix a last-minute PowerPoint. They saw the problem and came together and fixed something from a design perspective. In my opinion, they have gone beyond the call of the course. This is really only one of many examples. Please let us know if you have any further questions. I'm extremely thankful to you and for your help, which has already proven so useful to our organization." So, another applause.
Yay!
Not here with us now. Then I also, you want to say something, Amelia?
For one thing, for the credits, there are 3 people missing included. We're missing Sandra. We're missing
Sandra was there.
Yes.
Okay. I'm missing in the credits.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't make it.
So,
I didn't make it.
We have to make like a cut.
Okay, so you
before you go away from Emilio, I have a question for Emilio.
Yes.
Emilio, we talked very early on,
Yes.
and you were not very happy.
Yeah, I wasn't happy because we were not getting along very well. We had some problems, but at the end we managed how to work together, and it was, as you can see, successful video, successful products, and yeah.
I think that is a compelling story about, you know, where you start and where you finish, and how you keep believing, because, you know, you guys had all the talent, but maybe not the confidence at the beginning, and then look at what you produced. I mean, Alan and I were, you know, typing back and forth in the chat going, wasn't that clever? Look at that, you know, but that your client, that you did something for your client that wasn't even part of your charge, all of you. That's saying something that if I were hiring somebody, those are the qualities that I look for, because design talent alone is not enough to be successful. So
we're here for that.
She actually said something about us because we were just the client services and we were more in touch with her. Yeah. But the whole group did a lot amount of work. The filming was tremendous. The researching was tremendous. We had to divide it between volunteering, and we have to divide also in between fundraising, search on the platforms. So they mention us because they know us a little bit better. But for example, other members went to a reunion and to see them, to check about what they could improve, get some information. So yeah.
Yeah, good job. Great. And the highlight?
Yes, products. Somebody else. I think after Wednesday, because in the beginning we had some trouble with the filming, but on Wednesday we were going extremely fast and everything was done on time. So yeah, that was a good day.
Maybe we will keep working with them afterwards. So that's something that I want to highlight too.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have another question from your tutor. And our comments.
Comments more than questions. Hi, nice to see you again. Yeah, what can I say? As a tutor, it's a privilege to work with a group of people, students like this. I think I had a very, how do you call that, easy module with you guys as a tutor. But I want to, maybe I can say a lot of things about you, but I would like to give you some compliments on 3 things. The first thing is your organization as a team and as a group, because you completely worked as one big team. Although you had troubles in the beginning, you managed to solve that by talking with it, trying out different things, and in the end coming up with a scheme for the Mondays at least that more or less worked. You even mixed the teams within the teams to create new teams on different topics. I think that was quite interesting and completely thought of by yourself. So that was on the organizational part and communication. Each time you had a problem, you discussed it, you noticed you were having troubles in the end, up until the final week, obviously, when stress kicks in. But that's natural, right? Then you manage to overcome that as well. The second one is that what I really like on the content, besides the process, that you really understood the challenge very well. I think you really dived deep into the topics and came up with very concrete, actionable ideas that you can just pick and start implementing almost right away. Sorry, I'm talking too loud. No, but yeah, and they're closely connected to the different themes that were discussed within project communities. Yeah, like the internal organization, work teams, crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, technology stewardship, how do you deal with different things. I think all the theory or the content of the project is translated into concrete advice to your client. I think that's wonderful as well. And the final thing, and I was amazed by that, you had quite an ambitious idea for the video with the knowledge at that time of having a very skillful editor in your group, which you in the end did not have, and that is why the video, making of the video in the end took you quite a bit of struggle and time, but you did not just quit, you just managed somehow to do it with each other, and I think it's wonderful. Yeah, you're really committed, so I think it shows. Awesome. Nope, sorry.
Okay, any other words from you guys?
I have to say again, for the video, again, a really great concept that you pulled off very well. It feels very original in terms of the way you kind of came up with a motif. Your own method for being able to represent the ideas also in a way that was really excellent to watch. So hats off to the video production crew.
Okay, Satish, you have something to add?
Yeah, just saying that I believe this is the best video of the whole all the presentations. Even though they're not from me, I'm a bit jealous, but let's have to say that it's one of the best. Definitely.
Well, extra applause. You guys. Okay, we're going to go on to Constru Casa.
Imagine having the power to dramatically improve the quality of life for a whole family. Imagine ensuring a safe and stable environment for the impoverished people of Guatemala and their children. By supporting the development of projects aimed to secure education and a working healthcare system, this could become a reality. There is an organisation that does exactly this, and you could become a part of it. It's called Constru Casa and it's based in Guatemala. Their goal is to provide homes to as many families as possible. This developing organisation has built more than 700 houses in the last 10 years, but this is just the start. There are a plethora of other families that need your help. However, this process isn't an easy one, as there are a lot of challenges to face. The solution the ducks propose is to increase the general awareness and furthermore increase the fundings. To do so, a plan has been designed which can be used by you. The first part of this awareness plan is that we are going to provide Constru Casa with a list of companies that could possibly sponsor and support the NGO. In exchange, the companies would have the freedom to mention helping Constru Casa as charity work or collaboration in their social networks. The list contains the name of the company together with its email, some facts about them, a phone number and the address. We have also formulated a draft of an email with its design and a persuasive structure, which would make it very appealing for the companies to donate to Constru Casa. The second part of our plan is to set up a fundraising page for you. Because we don't have the time to start a big campaign, we have done some research and have found out that the platform posable.com fits best for your needs. We have designed a page that tells the donators about Constru Casa's mission, includes pictures and videos, and gives a general overview of where the donated money is going to go to. The last solution we want to focus on is the email newsletter that you guys send out. A good newsletter is worth a lot, so we are hoping that with an improved newsletter there's going to be a lot more traction. At the moment you don't get a confirmation email when you subscribe, so we would like to change that. The other bit we would like to focus on is to improve the layout to make the newsletter a lot more appealing and persuasive. We have done a lot of research and found out that a simple and minimalistic design that emphasizes pictures works best for your needs.
Did you know that gaming is a high source of income nowadays? Thanks to Twitch, 45 million unique viewers are internationally connected, resulting into the 4th largest internet trafficking platform in the US. In the next 2 minutes you will learn how to utilize this platform and increase the awareness and your profits to your NGO. This is you now. You want funds and awareness, and here's how it's going to happen. Step 1. Research streamers to find the ones who are most likely to stream for your cause. These streamers can be found on websites like topstreamers.com and twitchbt.tv. Step 2. Set a milestone. Go big or go home, like Rabia Yezbek did. He raised 32,000 euros to help the Save the Children's organization in Africa. And an even more successful example is Tom Castle, who managed to raise £162,000 to fight the motor neuron disease. Step 3. Initiating contact. Present and contact your mission to the streamers. This may take longer than expected, as the gamers receive hundreds of emails a day. So make sure your email covers everything you want efficiently, and that you send a clear message and mission from the start point. Step 4. Finalize your streaming goals and streaming dates with the chosen streamer. Step 5. Commercialize and advertise in order to help build hype for your streaming day. This can be done on social media websites like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Google+. Your final step is to make money. At least that's why we're doing this, right?
We will raise awareness with the upgraded newsletter. This is also a medium to attract more people, as it will be personalised and automated. In addition, we aim to invite more volunteers with the newsletter. Also, by approaching local construction companies with a persuasive letter, we hope to attract their attention, as well as an online campaign on posable.com to establish a useful online platform to increase the funding income. Our plan can be demonstrated by a cycle whereby more awareness will result in an increase in funds, which will lead to more attractive promotion for the cause, followed by an increase in volunteers or donations, and in the end allow for a better lifestyle, suitable houses, and of course an increased success rate among the Guatemalan society.
Twitch will provide your NGO with large donations with the simple cost of researching representatives. These representatives will enable the opportunity to build many houses around Guatemala and will increase the awareness of the Construcasa NGO. Twitch will not only give the money to work with, but also will spread your message to a large, frequent internet community that is constantly expanding. So make sure you start early and boom with it.
We are lucky enough to have one of our clients here today. No idea?
Can't hear.
Oh, okay. 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 Well, thank you for being here anyways. And
She doesn't want to be on camera.
Satish, would you like to comment or ask questions to your teams?
No, they are not perfect. No, just to start from.
They're wonderful. Start off with something nice, Satish. Always begin with a compliment.
I know, I'm just joking. They are a few of the brightest students this year, I believe. At least I see a lot of, how do you call it, potential. But why I'm saying that, because it's quite an interesting group of people, because initially they had troubles pick up the group work, but somehow they did learn that. I see that also in their reflections and as well as their work, that they come together and did wonderful job. So I have to give a compliment, because it's a learning process, and they did, I think, do learn that aspect, because if you put too many bright minds, it's difficult for the group work. But it's worked out quite good end of the day. And apart from that, yeah, I mean, from the content-wise, they are very outgoing to really also went for the Utrecht meeting, two representatives of the groups, and did learn a lot about it. And I hopefully see that they will actually do more in the future to understand these kind of aspects. But apart from that, they did a wonderful job.
Okay. Any other questions from other tutors? Comment from Nancy.
So I liked some of those clever touches, particularly the Construcasa when the T turned into a human being. You know, we've talked with all the groups is that you have to keep the human element in this. And often when delivering information, it's easy to lose track of the human element. So it's those little touches like that I really appreciated. This I have a comment, now I can't read it. Oh, so you really developed a list of companies that they can contact?
Yes, we did, and we actually have 2 companies that are very interested in actually donating money. Wow. So 2 contacts that are very keen and that we can give to Construcasa, and all they have to do is get in touch with them. And
that's fabulous. You know, that's...
Okay, does Construcasa know this?
Yes.
Okay.
That's fabulous. It's very concrete.
The Guatemala contacts to know this. Okay. Okay, great.
Good. And then the other one was, it was great to learn about Twitch. It was like a totally new thing for me. And I, you know, in this and the last one, there were things that were new to me. And I have to tell you, in past years, often we were giving the ideas to the students because they weren't coming up with their own. And this year, you know, yours and across all the boards, the originality is really high. And I deeply appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll echo that, because I mean, I talked to them in the beginning about their idea for Twitch, and I was like, what? Wait a minute. People make thousands of dollars by watching other people play video games, but you presented the challenge is like, how do you present it so you'll get the attention of these people who have the ability to draw in, because not everybody who Twitches obviously can have that impact. And great bringing together again the 2 different ideas into one package for Construcasa. I really love, you know, I hadn't seen the Go Animate stuff before that works really effectively. You know, part of me feels like at some point it might be nice to interject, maybe at the end, some actual photographs. I don't know if it distracts from the animation style, but animation is really good for representing ideas, but it really helps, like Nancy was saying, on the human elements to actually be able to see it. Maybe it's a separate campaign as well, but being able to see the actual impact of what this NGO does is really important.
Alan, you brought up one other thing, and this applies across all the presentations, which is when you think about selecting images out of these packages like Go Animate, sometimes they're not reflect the cultural context you're working in.
Yeah.
So it may or may not be a good choice as you use these tools going forward, thinking about, does this reflect, the reality of what we're seeing versus some kind of Northern European or North American perspective on the world. And unfortunately, a lot of the tools out there are very North-centric. So, and when you're dealing with NGOs who are South-centric, sometimes the images don't jive. So that's just something for future.
The white bald guy in the suit. I mean, he's everywhere.
Okay. Janneke, you had a question?
Yeah, well,
or comment?
We do have a representative of Consultata, and I was wondering if you could perhaps give a, maybe not comment on the final result, but give a general final comment on the...
Well, that's a bit probably in the same. We had a board meeting yesterday, and actually we concluded that we quite didn't know anything what they were doing because we didn't have contact with them.
Nice.
And we found a pity. And actually, we did try email with our office in Guatemala to ask if they have contact the last week. They didn't have contact with them.
So that's an interesting comment.
I think we had a
interesting comment.
Communication, like, and because I didn't know what they were doing, I actually couldn't quite understand their presentation because I have absolutely no idea what Twitch is. And some of the things they said about doing that were things we already know. And we were very interested to get this list. We didn't see it.
Okay, very important.
Yeah, because I'm in contact with Julie, and I said, like, I had an accomplishment with Julie that I'm going to send her the video, send her the video.
And send her the list.
The thing is that I went to Utrecht to the meeting in
Utrecht,
yeah, to the meeting, and the thing is that there's a very big lack of communication between the board of Guatemala and the board in the Netherlands, and that's what we had. And we talked to Julie, and Julie was very kind of like say like contact me, everything to me, and everything, and because in Utrecht they didn't know what we were doing, they didn't know anything about us, so.
Okay.
So that's why if we had any contact.
To avoid any confusion. Actually, I saw the problem, not problem, but the situation 4 weeks back. They were confronted with 2 problem owners. One is here and one is in Guatemala. But I didn't intervene in the communication process, but I leave up to them. And they choose, or at least it was given initially, that they choose Guatemala as the problem owner.
Yeah.
So they communicated with them 100% from day 1 to the day last. So that's
okay.
Yeah, that's why maybe they didn't communicate too much with the Utrecht or Netherlands party. So that's
I think it would be a good idea to get some the feedback on this, and then get the list and.
I promised to send to Utrecht like our plan.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So yeah, I mean
that's perfect. Okay.
Because they consulted and they talked about it, so it's a kind of situation that even adults, I mean, the real world we have problems.
We have
So actually it's nice to see that how they handled it, but it's they have to stick to the original script and assignments.
Okay.
And that, I mean, we talked with the group. We lost your video for a second, Laura. Nancy and I had a conversation about this midpoint and some of the frustration, and we had to say to the group, pretty much, if you're not having good contact or feedback, you can't wait always for them, and you have to go with your best design decisions And as long as you can rationalize them, you can say, this is what we had to go with, and this is what our approach was, and this is why, and that's what you present. And so this is kind of a great example of where not all the logistics work out, but you still really come up with a compelling idea that should be of value, and then you work out the communication problems.
And it seems like we're able to knit it back together now. So now we've got contact, and that's really important. And I actually wrote a note to myself about instructions for next year, because last year we had a contact who never talked to her boss or board, and her boss or board never knew anything about it, and we realized that was a problem. And so we need to, get that set up earlier on, because this particular organization lost a $10,000 donation because of that. So the lines of communication, that's my lesson for something to improve in the design for next year of how we set this up, because it's
and honestly, it's not easy on the students, but this is actually some of the real world lessons of working with organizations, is that this stuff will happen. You will, the ideal client is always a dream.
But it was really good. Good job, and I'm really happy. I don't know your name, the person from Constru Casa, but thank you for coming. Yes. And it's really helpful that you shared that comment, because it brought that lesson full around, and that's what this is about, those lessons.
Yeah. Let's hear some highlights.
Well, thank you. Bogdan wanted to say one. About the highlights. The highlights.
Yeah. I just want to say some things.
Closer.
I just want to say some things first. The thing is that back in the days, in the second week, when we actually started working on the whole project, Julia from Guatemala, she took a break, and then we didn't know that we can actually contact someone else, and we didn't know of any existence of the Dutch board or somebody else that we can contact, and discuss the whole process. And Nancy and Ellen can prove that for us. The other thing is that for the video, we actually haven't used Go Animate or something like that. We did it by ourselves. Jackie Oliver and Calvis actually helped me with the design, and we put it all together. Marie and Thomas, they were the voice behind the whole video. And yeah, as Keith said, it was really difficult in the beginning, working together and actually do something together. So I think
you should be proud. I think
Definitely.
You should be proud.
Definitely.
It was a great experience after all. So we all learned something from this, and
I think everybody did. I think that goes for all groups. How hard it is to work with real clients, but that's the way it is. Sometimes there's misunderstandings, and sometimes it works out perfectly. So win some and lose some. Thank you very much, you guys. Great video. Applause for everybody.
I keep on thinking that you guys are harder on yourself than anyone else.
Yeah, seriously.
Maybe you guys would like to say one last word, Alan and Nancy?
I'm just blown away. I'm super impressed, not only by the videos that you produce, but hearing some of the things that you dealt with, and the descriptions of how you dealt with the organizational problems. I mean, that's and came up with ways to manage groups is something that's really compelling, especially because you went from this group of 5 to these groups of 10 or 15, and that's not hard to do, and you guys really handled that well. And then again, just hearing that you've already had an impact or already have definite deliverable ideas that we've already heard, it's sort of, Project Community has really elevated again this year in terms of the impact on these projects, and it's great to hear that some of you really developed a strong interest in the work that they're doing.
Yeah, I ditto what Alan said, and the evidence presented today is really only the tip of the iceberg, and the thoughtfulness of your reflections in your blogs and your self-awareness of your team's strengths and challenges, to me, those, and to be willing to post them in public, okay, and share them in public is hugely valuable. And fabulous job, standing ovation. I'm standing. Standing O.
Oh.
Hey. Ellen, any last words?
Me? I said the first words.
Okay.
We're gonna probably wrap up. I'm gonna turn off the live broadcast, but we'll stick around for a few minutes if you want to huddle.
There's
But
a party now, right?
there's a party now, and
I think it's a party now, right?
you should have a party. You definitely should celebrate. Congratulations again. Another great year for Project Community 2015, and hopefully there'll be a 2016.
And thanks to Laura and all the tutors as well, and all the NGOs who are still watching or listening.
Okay.
Absolutely. Signing off.
Thanks to Ellen for helping us again this year. Woo! Applause for yourself.